another little quick review for tonight. We're going to find the missing parts of a right triangle using sine, cosine, and tangent. Those are the methods that we use to find missing sides or missing angles because they relate to each other using sine, cosine, and tangent. Well, let's start with the missing angle. If we have a missing angle, so the variable is in the angle position, remember that you're actually going to use the inverse functions in your calculator. So I'm either going to use sine inverse, cosine inverse, or tangent inverse. I'm going to use SOH CAH TOA to figure out which inverse that I'm going to use. So I want to circle my angle, just like I always do. That's the first step. And then I'm going to look at what they labeled on the triangle. They labeled an 8 and an 11. And the 8 is the opposite of the angle in question, and the 11 is the adjacent. So I know that I have opposite and adjacent. Using my SOH CAH TOA, I realize that it's the tangent that deals with opposite and adjacent. So I know I'm going to do tangent inverse opposite, which is 8, over adjacent, which is 11. And I'm going to put that in my calculator. And I'm going to round to the nearest degree. So I'm going to go to tangent inverse, 8/11ths. And I know you can't see it, but it gave me 36.027, so that's going to be a 36-degree angle. Alright. Easy. That's probably the easiest missing part. Now let's go over here and let's talk about missing sides. There's two different ways we might have to solve. Actually, it's the same method, but one of them takes one more step. We're going to start with this. I need to find the missing side. Look at the angle that they give you. They gave me the 36-degree angle, so I'm going to circle that angle. I'm going to label the sides that are given to me, which this is an X, and it is across from the 36, so it's opposite. The 12 is across from the 90-degree angle, so it's hypotenuse. So opposite and hypotenuse. So I'm going to think about my SOH CAH TOA. The opposite and hypotenuse is sine. So they gave me the angle 36 degrees, so I know the sine of 36 degrees equals opposite over hypotenuse. Opposite is x. Hypotenuse is 12. So I'm going to multiply by the denominator. No matter what, I'm always going to multiply by that denominator, and my denominator is 12. So I'm going to go 12 times the sine of 36 degrees equals x. X is isolated. It's alone. So all I'm going to do is multiply these two things together in my calculator. I'm going to go to one decimal place because that's what I've been requiring you to do. 12 sine 36. 7.1 because it's 7.05. So that side length is 7.1, whatever units it is, centimeters, inches, whatever. Okay, so let's go on to the next one. They have given me an angle, 42 degrees. I'm going to identify the sides. This is adjacent because it's connected to the angle, and it's not the hypotenuse, so it has to be the adjacent. The x is the hypotenuse. So adjacent and hypotenuse, that's my cosine, adjacent and hypotenuse. So I'm going to set up my equation. My equation is the cosine of 42 degrees is adjacent, which is 8, over hypotenuse, which is x. So I want you to notice the difference between this one and this one. I'm still going to do the same method. I'm going to multiply across by my x. I'm going to multiply both sides by x. I'm going to clear that denominator. So x times the cosine of 42 degrees equals 8. Now, clearly my x is not alone. If this said 3x equals 8, y'all would tell me, divide both sides by 3. Well, I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna divide both sides by the cosine of 42, just like I would with any other multiplication. So x equals 8 divided by the cosine of 42 degrees, and that's what I'm going to put in my calculator, and I'm going to go to 1 decimal place. 8 divided by cosine 42. And I'm going to round to 1 decimal place, and it says 10.76, so that would be 10.8. Okay, so there's your quick review, finding missing angles, finding missing sides. I hope that helps. Make sure you write down any questions that you might have, and I'll be sure to answer them tomorrow.